All right, so yeah, now that I said something which it could come across as being uh, as criticizing, Reiki, and that's not the point here. Yeah, basically it was about you don't want to get emotionally involved with a patient, right? Because then you're being pulled off center in some way. You want to be aware of the condition and use an appropriate treatment method for the condition, or use an appropriate energy, or what you do to help them, right? So yeah, my practice that I do, it's mostly a self-centered practice, but it can have a positive effect on people around me, right? And that's something that I'm interested in, is how to have a positive effect on the people around me, and people watching the live stream, right? And the more positive, the better, right? So yeah, so I talked about my experience of centering and grounding, and how that applies equally to martial arts and healthcare, right? Or healing, right? Healthcare, healing practices, whether it's mainstream medicine, or whether it's alternative healing like Reiki, or whatever else. So I talked about how it's important to be able to be centered and be aware of the state that the patient is in without getting emotionally attached, to it. Having said that, I'm sure that people who are Reiki healers, or Reiki masters, Reiki healers, who have successfully, healed a patient somewhere, or maybe different people like to say these things in different ways, right? One person might like to call it, I'm healing this person. Another person might say, I disagree with that. I think you're more restoring them. If you say that you are healing them, then it's maybe, you're getting um, uh, entangled in a problematic way. But man, like however you say it, it's fine. Um, some people will call it healing. Some people will call it restoring. But so I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's clear that you don't want to get pulled off center in a problematic way. You need to be centered such that you're able to observe the problem in the patient, and then select an appropriate method to help them. But I think that if you are able to help them, then that's probably a positive feeling, right? So that positive feeling that you feel when you help someone, that's a good feeling, and that's a more pure form of positive energy, which does not entangle you in a problematic way, right? You know, yeah. It's kind of just me considering this myself, but if anyone has anything they'd like to add or comment, please go ahead. We can have a friendly discussion about it, So yeah, I didn't mean to uh, criticize anyone in a negative way. Before I was just saying stuff like, yeah, I was just observing, the facts basically. So yeah, a more pure form of positive energy, which comes from within myself, which I'm centered in, which doesn't entangle with anyone else in a problematic way.